Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. We've got a Saturday special 2-game slate for week 15 on DraftKings. It's that time of year when the NFL starts putting games on Saturdays, and so we've got extra videos to put out, extra content, extra millionaire makers on the slate. If you are the type of person that enjoys a 2-game slate, this is right there. It's your slice of pie right here for you. Or if you're interested in the showdown games, play those. I'm not going to do content for the showdowns on Saturday. There's just too many different game types and not enough hours in the day, and I can't put out a video for every single bit of content. But if you wanted to discuss it with other people that are like-minded like you, there is a link down below to the Discord. Over 5,000 people now involved in our community Discord. Jump on over there. There's free channels for you to play around in and have people to talk about any slate for daily fantasy NBA preseason, showdown, main slates, 2-game slates, anything else. Surround yourself with other like-minded people if you're trying to get better at daily fantasy. We're trying to improve every single day. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, all free options. Leave a reply down below. Let me know what you think about the Saturday showdown slate. Are you going to be stacking? Are you not going to be stacking? How do you attack a showdown, or how do you attack a 2-game slate versus a main slate? Start the discussion. It's the only way to get better. If you wanted to join those VIP only rooms, those subscriber only rooms, channel member only rooms, click that join button. You get a nice VIP badge next to your name anytime that you reply to a video here on YouTube that will graduate with you the longer that you are a channel member of the channel. You get some great emotes. The more subscribers we get, the more channel members we get, it'll unlock more emote slots. I will immediately upload more emotes for you guys to play around with. You can text them to your friends on iPhone if you have an iPhone as well. It's kind of fun. And then you get access to those VIP rooms in Discord. And there's always mods there if you jump over and you can't figure it out to help you out. Just go to the instructions folder in Discord. Once you join, it'll walk you through the steps, and it takes a few hours for it to sync with YouTube. Other than that, go take a look at this slate. We got 2 games, Buffalo versus Denver. We got Carolina at Green Bay. And I kind of like the way that they priced this slate, because you can't just jam everybody in. There's a few players that are preferred, I guess, like some superstar plays that we can look at. The first one is one of the most consistent and best players week in, week out on DraftKings is DAVANTE Adams. He may be a separator on this slate, somebody to differentiate you from the rest of the field. Obviously, when you play a 2-game slate, percentages are going to be extremely high. There are less options to choose from. When you pick DAVANTE Adams, you are either going to have to avoid Steph Diggs, or you're going to have to play one of the less preferred quarterbacks. Not that that's a terrible thing. Paying down at quarterback is never a horrible thing, but there's a massive price difference at the quarterback spots. DAVANTE Adams, because of his target market share on this team and his red zone opportunities and end zone opportunities that he gets from a Hall of Fame quarterback having a career season, an outlier season, even for Aaron Rodgers, that has propelled DAVANTE Adams. Basically, I made the analogy that DAVANTE Adams is one of the best high dollar running backs from a cash game perspective on DraftKings, because of the volume that he gets. 1 target equals 2.7 carries. So basically, if you're telling me that he gets 9+ targets every single week, you're looking at a 25+ carry running back, a 30+ carry running back, or 30+ carry running back on an every week basis, but with full PPR. And the fact that he does get deep from time to time, but most of his work is done in the short to intermediate range, they're very easily convertible into catches, much like Michael Thomas from last season. So you have this ridiculously high floor. We were in Discord sweating the games last Sunday, and people were kind of upset that DAVANTE Adams only had like 15, 17 points. He had already scored a touchdown. So watch Adams get there on this drive. And sure enough, he caught like 2 or 3 passes and got you the 100-yard bonus, ended with 115, and he jumped from like 15, 16 points to 27.5, 3xing his salary last week. I think that we have a very realistic expectation for him to get you between 24 and 32 DraftKings points, which, if on a short slate, might be extremely valuable. Again, it's a Saturday, it's the middle of winter. We are going to have to monitor the weather in both of these games, because if it becomes a slog fest, especially with the storms that are on the East Coast, if there's something coming behind them in the Midwest, or in the Rockies for Denver, or the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, things that we're gonna have to monitor. Christian McCaffrey, who knows? He's not taking part in Thursday's practice. That's essentially a Friday practice to us. So I doubt that he's going to play this weekend, which kind of opens up Mike Davis for us once again. And it's against a team that has been really bad, a team that we've been streaming running backs against at a $6,500 price. I think he's going to be one of the most popular running backs on this slate at $6,500. Looking at the quarterbacks really quickly, Rodgers is priced really high. I don't think that you need Aaron Rodgers to have DAVANTE Adams. Now, there's some quarterbacks that I think if you have the receiver that you need to stack the quarterback with them. So if DAVANTE Adams has a really big day, 25 to 35 DraftKings points, I don't think you need Aaron Rodgers with him. That means like 9 catches for 120 and a touchdown, right? That range fits right in there. He can have that day and Aaron Rodgers can have like 260 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that's not game breaking, especially not for 7,800. And Aaron Rodgers can run the football, but he's not what I would call a running quarterback. He's more of a situationally mobile quarterback, especially at this point in his career. As you can see, the rushing floor in terms of his yardage per game sits between like 4 and 15. So you're not getting a really good floor, and the rushing touchdowns are very fluky, especially for somebody that does not run it as often as he does, especially not around the goal line. But he does have that 2 to 3 touchdown expectation pretty much every time he takes the field. And efficiency, not volume, is what makes quarterbacks valuable to us. But you see where his points per game in that 25-point range, and that's right where he sits. You're paying for floor when you pay up to get Aaron Rodgers. And I don't know that you need to do that, especially not in tournaments where floor shouldn't really be your concern, especially when you don't need to have Aaron Rodgers to unlock the upside potential. Now, if you're double stacking, if you have 2 Green Bay Packers wide receivers on a team and you want to pay up for Rodgers, try and get contrarian and cheap somewhere else, I'm totally on board with that. But like at 7,200, going after Josh Allen, who has way more rushing touchdown upside, clearly does not have the consistency through the air that somebody like Aaron Rodgers has, but gives us a better rushing floor, gives us a higher ceiling, you know, with his rushing ability. But you'll notice the yo-yoing on his every week scoring: 19, 34, 17, 29. So like if it's one of those low weeks on the yo-yo and you're walking the dog, it's not going to turn out really good for you. Now, the 2 quarterbacks that are much cheaper, look at the price difference, 2K drop from Allen down to Bridgewater at 5,200. These are the guys that can certainly unlock the slate for you to get those high upside, high dollar positional plays. So Bridgewater and Locke, and again, there's no certainty with these guys, but if you believe that Buffalo's defense, which has kind of been abused through the air by a bunch of different teams this year, good DVP against the Buffalo defense for quarterbacks, and Drew Lock's got some really great weapons at his disposal, albeit he has been a spotty quarterback this year. Some of the metrics gang does not like him. I only care about whether or not he can do this, which he did for us last week, and he's done this. Second half Drew Lock, when Denver gets down a lot, has provided some really good comeback material, where in both of those games he was struggling in the first half. Drew Lock does have the ability and definitely has the weapons around him. If we take a look over at the Denver flex options, Melvin Gordon is questionable. Monitor this. We'll know 90 minutes before lock, and they're the early games, so you'll know before lock, as opposed to Carolina and Green Bay, who play later. We'll know what's going on with the running back situation here. But he's got Tim Patrick at 4,300, very cheap to stack with Denver this week. You also have Jerry Jeudy. Noah Fant at 3,800 is going to be extremely popular, especially against Buffalo, who's been kind of bad against opposing tight ends, and KJ Hamler, who was the star last weekend and remains at 3,500. More of a tournament dart throw, being kind of the 4th option in the passing game here, but the best downfield ability of any of the pass catchers on Denver. So taking a look at how lineups kind of stacked this week, or how they line up this week, if you wanted to fit somebody, if you wanted to play like a team jam 'em in type lineup with who I think are the 2 best plays on the slate, one, DAVANTE Adams, who I already spoke about, and Stefon Diggs. Because of the absence of John Brown, Stefon Diggs has hashtag the American hero, has a increased expectation for targets on a week in, week out basis. This also affects Buffalo down the line. So Diggs is a great play this week. Beasley, another guy who in Brown's absence has seen a much higher market share of the Bills targets, and at 4,700 is probably going to project no matter which projection set you use. Whether you're using rotogrinders, labs, daily roto, or whatever else, establish the run. Cole Beasley is going to pop in that projection model because of his recent usage with John Brown out. Those vacated targets get soaked up by somebody, and a couple of them go towards Steph Diggs, but he's way more expensive, and at 4,700, Cole Beasley is going to be that guy as well. So stuffing these two gentlemen in here is not going to allow you very much room to get the expensive quarterback. So coming down to like a Drew Lock, at running back, we talked about Mike Davis. Melvin Gordon's probably going to be your popular pick there, with 4 lead backs on this slate, going between Mike Davis, Gordon, Aaron Jones, who I don't think we can afford if we play both of them. If you wanted to go Aaron Jones over those points and kind of get off of the guy that is going to attract the most attention at the high dollar range, and take on a little bit more risk because of the spotty volume for Aaron Jones, it will open up another $2K for you to spend, and your lineup may look a little bit better to you. To get both Diggs and DAVANTE Adams, I believe that you have to go, or almost have to go, and I did it again. I believe that you almost have to go with a tight end in the flex, and playing 2 tight ends, as I said, like Noah Fant. Go with Tunyon as the later option in your flex. Pick any one of the defenses, and that leaves you, if you pick a 3K defense, that leaves you like 10K remaining for these other spots. It's going to be very much about correlation. It's going to be very much about stacking with only 4 teams. Pick the team that you think is going to score the most points, the most touchdowns, and try and get access to as many of them as possible. And if you believe that there's going to be a push and a pull, make sure that you stack those players along with them. So going with, let's say, if we go with Drew Lock, playing one of his pass catchers in Noah Fant, coming back on the other side of that with Diggs and Beasley is going to be extremely popular here. And then you can plug in the other players because the defenses are not going to be all that difficult to get to. And a defense against, again, 2-game slate, some of the rules go off the reservation, right? Because like we don't have that many defenses. You're not going to be able to pick a defense that's against all of your players more often than not. You can do it, but you can't build a ton of different lineups that way. So I don't worry as much about the negative correlation between position players on Denver and the Buffalo defense, or any defense against the position players when it comes to that. You just need, if there's a defensive touchdown scored, you're going to have that defense. So you can fill out your lineups accordingly after that. Same thing goes for Teddy and Teddy stacks. We do have one bit of news for this slate with DJ Moore coming back. You don't have all of the targets going to basically just Robbie Anderson and Curtis Samuel. So DJ Moore expected to be back in this game with his ankle injury, adding one more player to the mix. So if you do go with Teddy and a double stack there, that's going to open up these other couple of gentlemen for you. So you've got Robbie and you've got DJ Moore, or you've got Samuel, him and Samuel about 400 apart. Pick your poison with that, and then get your bring back player, no matter who it is, whether it's going to be Davante Adams or Aaron Jones or somebody like MVS as well. A lot of different routes that you can go. I hope that you guys enjoy the slate. Have yourselves a great weekend. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.